Good day, everyone. In this video, I'm going to quickly do a cybersecurity awareness training. The reason why we are recording the presentation is because when we consulted with the schools, they indicated that it would be challenging for you guys to come and attend the training on Saturdays due to transport issues. So the option that they recommended was that we do a recording, then they are going to share the recording with you guys. And then if you have questions that, or maybe there are more info that you will need maybe to get from us or to be assisted with, at the end, I'll provide my email address that you can use in order to contact me so that I can be able to help you further with more information. So this is a very, it's not going to be long. It's a short presentation for about 30 minutes, whereby we'll be just making you aware of cybersecurity and some of the attacks that are there so that you know how to protect yourself and your or maybe your online accounts. So that's the purpose of our presentation today. So the presentation is done in collaboration with TUT and CSIR. I'm Dr. Topside Matonsi. I will be doing the presentation. Mr. Ndlovu, who is from CSIR, he will also some other time when we get a chance or a platform to be able to present the slides physically. I'll be with him to be able to do that. So our presentation for today will look at the first one. We'll just look at the basic of cybersecurity so that you can have an understanding or a broader understanding of what is cybersecurity. Then we'll look into South African statistics and cyber attacks that we are facing as a country. Then we'll look at some of the steps that you can use as the internet user to protect yourself from cybersecurity threats. And then we'll also just provide a short video that will help you to understand what are some of the things that you should not paste or post online on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, so that you are aware of how people steal our identity. Then they use our information to do wrong things. And then the last part of our presentation will just bring just a short summary that you can also use also to protect yourself for your online account. So our presentations, as we've indicated, that will first provide an introduction to cybersecurity so that you can understand or have just a basic understanding of what is cybersecurity. So we'll first look at the internet users in the world, in the whole world. As of January 2023, approximately 64.4% of the world population, which amounts to 5.16 billion people, are internet users. So you can see there is a huge number of internet users, which gives an opportunity to cyber criminals if there are people who are not aware of some of the attacks that these criminals use. So out of that number that of 5.16 billion people, out of that total, over 93%, which amounts to 4.76 billion people, are active on social media platforms. This includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, among many others. In addition to that number, the number of devices, the number of networks, the number of servers, they continue to grow in South Africa, where nearly 60% of the population has internet access. However, this growth also presents new opportunities for cyber criminals because there is a high number of people who are online. Some of them are not aware of these cyber criminals or some of the techniques that this cyber criminal uses to steal our information and sell it on the black market. So this is the diagram that we were referring to on the bullet points that we mentioned there. The total population of people at the moment, we are about 8.01 billion. Urbanization, it's 50. Out of that number, we have 57.2%. Then in terms of mobile users, we have 5.44 billion people, which is versus our population, which means we have about 68 people that are also not 68, sorry, 68.0% from that number. Then in terms of, these are mobile users, they are not online in terms of internet users. These are just the number of people that have cell phones access, because remember, some of the cell phones, then they can the users, they cannot use those phones to access internet. So that's very, very important to understand the difference between the mobile users and the internet users. Here is the population, or it's people who have cell phones, but some of those cell phones, from this number of users, those phones, they cannot use them to access internet. Then in terms of internet users, as we have indicated in our first bullet there, that we have about 5.16 billion users. In terms of the population, we have 64.4%. These are people that are active in the internet. In terms of active social media users, we have 4.76 billion. In terms of the population, this equates to 59.4% internet users. So that's very, very important to take note of that. So what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity refers to the practice of protecting our computer systems, networks, and also sensitive information from unauthorized access, theft, damage, or other malicious activity that may compromise the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability of the digital asset. In addition to that, it involves the use of various technologies, processes, and policies to safeguard computers, servers, mobile devices, and other digital systems against cyber threats, such as viruses that they can infect our computers or our mobile devices, then we don't have access to our devices, or malwares, or also phishing attacks, which are normally via it's either somebody can just send you a WhatsApp message to say, open this link. Once you open that link, then they have access to your cell phone. They can do anything on your phone, or they can send a link via email. When you open that link, it blocks you from accessing your computer. So that's very, very important. Then they can do anything at that time, because they will have full access to your computer. Or social engineering techniques. Social engineering techniques, this is where people pretend to maybe to be our friends so that they can get information from us, and then they can use that information to steal our online identity in the near future, or any form of cyber crime. Why is cyber security important? There are a number of points that are available, but we are going to look at 4 of them. The first one is the protection of confidential information. Why do we need to protect confidential information? Is because organizations store sensitive information such as customers' data, financial records in banks, intellectual property on networks and computers. So we need to make sure that this information that these companies or the organization, or our own information that we post online, is secured. So that's where or that is why cybersecurity is very, very important. What are some of the countermeasures that can assist in terms of this? Cybersecurity measures that can help here is to assist us with protecting this information that is going to be stored on the computers and on the network from theft and unauthorized access. This will assist in ensuring that there is privacy and confidentiality of the data that is stored on the computers and on the network. The next point, why is it important? This is to assist with the prevention of cyber attacks. Cyber attacks, which can include malware, ransomware. Ransomware, this is where they get hold maybe of your machine or a company's servers. Then they request that you pay them a certain amount. Thereafter, you will have access to your data that is stored on the computer or either on the network servers. Then we have explained about phishing. So this can cause a significant damage to organization, resulting in financial loss and also reputational damage. So these cyber attacks, they don't only affect organizations, they also affect you as an end user, because if your information gets stolen, they create a credit card using your information. It means you are going to lose money because they are going to use your information to buy products online. So that's another thing. So that's very, very important. Cybersecurity measures help prevent such attacks or mitigate their impact, thereby minimizing the potential damage to the organization and also to you as an end user. So that's very, very important, because if your organization get hacked or attacked, it will also affect you as the end user. So that's very, very important to take that, or it can affect you as an individual. So that's very, very important, because if they get hold of access to your mobile device, it means they can use your banking apps to transfer money, buy things using your online accounts. So that's very, very important, that we need to always make sure that our accounts are protected, or our cell phones, our computers are up to date with antiviruses. Another point why it is important is that in terms of we need to comply with regulations. Many industries have regulations and laws regarding the protection of data. One of the regulations that we have in South Africa is the Protection of Personal Information Act. Cybersecurity measures help organizations comply with those regulations to avoid legal penalties, fines, among many others. The protection of critical infrastructure. Critical infrastructures such as power grid, transportation systems, water treatment facilities are also increasingly connected to the computer networks, making them vulnerable to cyber attacks. We are living in the digital era, so organizations or government are trying to ensure that they digitize their processes. Why are they doing that? So that they can at least try and provide better service to the community. So some of the systems, they are being connected to the network, so that some of the things can be solved without the network technicians or the technician going to the site where we have our power grids or the transportation system or our water treatment facilities. So that's why these infrastructures, they are also being targeted by the cyber criminals. So cybersecurity measures can help protect those systems from disruption or damage, ensuring that, or this will ensure that we have, or those facilities are safe, and this will also assist with the well-being of the general public. Why it will also assist in the well-being of the general public is because if they hack into water treatment facilities and water does not get treated before it gets transmitted to, or before it flows to the pipes that goes to the community, that means communities are going to get sick. So those are some of the things. If they hack power grids, it means they can switch off the power. If they hack the transportation system, it means that department will not be able to maybe sell tickets. Let's take, for example, in the transportation system that we have in the city of Tshwane, where we need to use the buses. If they hack into that transportation system, it means they can change the schedule of the buses. They can stop the systems from selling tickets. So those are some of the things that makes cybersecurity more important. In terms of the statistics in South Africa is ranked on number 6 among the world most affected countries by cyber attacks, with an estimated 51 victims per 1 million internet users. The number has increased over the past year. This is because in 2001, only 6 people per 1 hour fell victim of cyber attack or cyber crime. So this number has increased. So that is why it is very, very important that we become aware of what is happening around us. Some of the most common types of cyber crimes are reported in our country includes phishing scams, malware attacks, and also fraudulent emails or messages. These messages, they can come just as a form of a message, or they can come through our WhatsApp. So this shows what's happening in the world, with the United Kingdom being number 1. Second is United States, Canada. Then comes Belgium, Australia, and then comes South Africa. After South Africa, it's France, Germany, and Mexico. Then in number 10, we have India. So these are the number of people that get affected by these cyber crimes per 1 million internet users in that specific country. So it is very, very important that we don't fall victim of these cyber crimes. How can we solve or prevent that? We'll give you some of the solutions later in the presentation. Why is South Africa one of the targets? We have lack of investment and also weak cybersecurity infrastructure in terms of the law enforcement capabilities, and also because we have weak cybersecurity infrastructure and law enforcement capabilities. This makes it easier for cyber criminals to operate with impunity within our country. In addition to that, we have a high number of internet users or a high level of internet penetration among the youth. However, there has been a slow progress in terms of developing cyber crime legislation, and also providing the law enforcement with training that they can use in order to prevent some of these crimes, or in order to gather data that can be used to ensure that these crimes or cyber crime criminals are sent to jail. Another thing is that there is a lack of cybersecurity awareness and education among many South African internet users. So that is one of the reasons, or that is one of the main points that motivated TUT and CSIR to join hands so that we can provide this cybersecurity awareness to our high school students, so that they can be aware, because we know that high school students are more active also on the internet. So that is the reason why we also decided that we need to take this training to high schools. So because of that, because there is a lack of cybersecurity awareness and education, this makes more people fall victim or become vulnerable to these cyber attacks. Also, there is a growing trend on online banking, e-commerce, people buying things online, which has led to an increase in financial transactions taking place over the internet. So that is another reason that makes this cyber crime to also go up, because they can intercept some of the transaction, or they can hack into our phones, then use our banking apps to perform this online transaction. So these are some of the reasons that make South Africa become one of the targets in the in the world. What are some of the steps that you can use to protect yourself from these cybersecurity threats? The first one, you need to make sure that you keep your software up to date. This includes your operating system, your antivirus software, and any other applications that you are using on your computer or on your cell phone. Please make it or ensure that you always update it so that you use or you get latest security patches and updates that can help protect your devices. The second point that you can also implement is to use strong and unique passwords. Use complex passwords that include a combination of letters, numbers, and symbols. In addition to that, avoid using the same passwords for the multiple accounts. Please don't use one password to open your banking app. Don't use that password to open your Facebook account, your Twitter account, your email account, your Instagram account. Use a combination or use different passwords. Avoid using one password, because if they get access to one account, it means they can use that password again to open the different accounts or your online accounts that you have. So that's very, very important. Enable a two-factor authentication. Instead of using only a password, add another layer of authentication where you can use your biometric. It can either be your finger or your iris or your voice. So that's very, very important to integrate this authentication method that will help protect your devices. It can be your laptop. Instead of only using a password to open it, most of the recent laptops, they also allow you to use your fingerprint. On your cell phones, it's either you can use your picture, or you can use your voice, or you can use your some of your biometric that can include your finger in order to open that cell phone. So that's very, very important to add this layer of authentication instead of using one method of authenticating. Be cautious of phishing attacks. Be aware of suspicious emails, messages. Also now they can just call you, asking you of your personal information. Take note that banks, they will never call you to ask you about your password and things like that. So that's very, very important. Be aware of the emails that you open or the links that you click after you have received an email. Check where the email is coming from. That's very, very important, because somebody can claim to be somebody whereas they are not. Then you just open a link or you just click on a link, and then your computer goes off. They take hold of your computer or your cell phone. So that's very, very important. Check when you open messages and they ask you to click a link, please first check the authenticity of that message or that email. That's very, very important. And don't just give your personal information on a phone call to somebody that you don't even know or trust. So that's very, very important. Avoid clicking on suspicious links or downloading attachments from unknown sources. That's very, very important. You can also, another method that you can also use to protect yourself is to use a virtual private network. A virtual private network will assist in encrypting your internet traffic, making it more difficult for hackers to intercept your data. So in encryption process, this is where a data get converted, readable data get converted into unreadable data. So even if hackers get hold of your information, they'll not be able to read it. So that's very, very important. Then another thing that you need to always do is to back up your data regularly on a separate external device. This can be your external hard drive, or you can maybe use your Google Drive. Those are some of the places where you can save your data, apart from saving it in your computer or your cell phone, so that in case you get hacked and you don't have access to data that is stored on your computer or on your phone, you still have access to that data on an online platform that can be on the cloud. So that's very, very important too, to always make sure that you have created the backup and make sure that you update that data regularly so that you can have the latest data stored in a safe location. So that's very, very important. Another thing that you can also do is to secure your home network. Make sure that your home Wi-Fi network is secured by using strong passwords and encryption. In addition to that, you need to disable remote access so that if people are just passing by without passwords, they don't just have access to your home Wi-Fi. So that's very, very important to ensure that you have a strong password for your home Wi-Fi. Then another thing that you can also do is to continuously implement those measures. This will assist in significantly reducing your risk of falling a victim to cyber security attacks. This is because cybersecurity is an ongoing process. So you need to always remain vigilant and up to date with the latest security trends and practices so that they can help you to ensure that you best possible protect yourself against this cyber crime. So that's very, very important. Read news that talks about trending cyber crimes so that you'll know some of the techniques that these cyber criminals are using or are introducing in order to get hold of our data. So that's very, very important. These are some of the security risk examples that we often do as end users. The first one here, you can see it was taken from Twitter. One person is ordering a pizza, and in that they include the address, then they include the card number. This is a security risk. Why? Because this card number, anybody who has access to this, they can make online payments using this. So that's very, very important to make sure that we are very, very careful of what we paste online. So that this is a very, very dangerous thing. This is a cyber security risk that can cause this user to lose money within 2 minutes. So that's very, very important. Another security risk that many users make. Yes, we indicated that people should use different passwords and they should make them unique, but don't paste your passwords anywhere. Normally, it is recommended that don't write your passwords down because it means if you do this, you can see it means it can be for a work computer, this is for the bank, this is for the email, this is maybe for another site where the user visited. Yes, they've created different passwords, but they also made these passwords public to anyone. It can be in the office, people work in open offices. If somebody gets hold of these passwords, it means if you are not at work that day, it means they can be able to log in your computer and do whatever they want to do. Or even if you are at work that day, if they have taken a picture like this, it means they can sit down, open your email address, go to your banking app, and still have access to your data. So this is very, very dangerous. Let's avoid writing our passwords down. We need to make sure that we create passwords, unique passwords that we can easily remember. Yes, they need to be strong, but we need to easily remember them so that we don't write them down and paste them anywhere where other people can have access to that place. So that's very, very important. Another thing that is also recommended is not to write our passwords down on our cell phones, because our cell phones somebody can just borrow your phone to make a call while they are busy They can just quickly maybe just check some of the info on your phone. Then if they see that you have written your passwords or you have stored them as contact numbers, then they can send those passwords to their cell phone. So that's very, very important to make sure that we are protected. So here we want to quickly show you one of another security risk example that you need to make sure that you are very, very careful of what you paste online. So this is one example. So I'm going just to keep quiet so that you can have a full detail of what's happening. So the example that you have seen there, that is one of the identity theft that was done using a passive information gathering of that user. So the user posted a number of or different events that took place in their life. You have seen they posted on the graduation date where people got their full name, and also you have seen where they posted a picture on a birthday that gives them, or the person who was gathering that information, they knew the birth date of that person. They posted a picture with their address. It means they managed to get the address of that person. Then they also posted where they were sitting in a restaurant with their bank card on the table, where that the cyber criminal managed to steal the card number. Then they created an online identity of that user, and they managed to purchase items using the information of the user who was posting their information online. So that is very, very important. So we need to be very, very careful of what we post online, because people can use that information to steal our identity. Then they can be able to use our information and our banking details to purchase items online. So that's very, very important. Let's be very, very cautious of what we post online. So in ending our presentation, we just have 5 cybersecurity tips that we wish you implement, or you can use them in your everyday life. The first one is using double authentication. Instead of using one authentication method, use 2 forms of authentication, whereby you can use the password and also a form of a biometric feature that can be your iris or your face or your fingerprint when you want to open your certain accounts online. Be very cautious of where you click. So please watch where you click. Be very, very careful. Be cautious of the emails. Don't just open or click links that you receive from unknown sources, or click links on your mobile phone that you might have received via a WhatsApp or just a normal message. Secure your mobile device. Make sure that you have an antivirus in your cell phone or also in your laptop. That will also make sure that you activate it to tell you if links are malicious. So before a cell phone or a laptop can open a certain link, if you have an antivirus that you have activated, that it must tell you if a certain link is suspicious, that link is not going to be opened. Make sure that your cell phone is always up to date in terms of the operating system of that computer or the cell phone, because it comes with updated security patches that can help you protect your mobile device. Also, please watch where you store or share your data online. It is very, very important we watch what we share online. The previous example that we have shown you, I believe it will have opened your eyes, because now you will know that these are some of the sensitive information that when you paste online, they are not supposed to be there. So that's very, very important to remember that. Things that include your ID number, your home address, your banking information, please don't share it online, because people can use that information, please. Then the last one, don't just delete the information that you have on your online account. Make sure that you also destroy the hard drives. That's very, very important, so that there is no trace of that information. So that is the end of our presentation. We know that we can't take questions because this was an online presentation. So for question and answers, you can send me the questions via an email. Then I should be able to respond to you on that email address. Thank you very much. And I'm hoping to getting your questions via email, so that if there is something which you need more information on, I'll be happy to assist you. Thank you. Goodbye.